Yeah, you've been involved in creating an omni-channel playbook. Why don't you tell me, give me a little overview of what it's about?
So when you talk about omni-channel, it can be a lot of things, but it will be mainly about connecting your store and your digital experience. So I think that is where the most benefits are. And you have different stages in that. So one, for instance, is talking about your store location, which is the easy part. And then when you go a step further, I would say you can integrate your inventory, so to say. So you could say on your PDP if its products are available in stores nearby, or you could even say on your listed pages, hey, what products are available in my store? So that's really from the need from the customer. So if you want it now, then that is really handy. And of course, yeah, you have the whole fulfillment part. So how can you get the product to you? Is it, can you pick it up in store? Can you return in store? Those kind of things. Can you ship to the store? What are the possibilities there? And how can you switch in your checkout? And it is about customer service. So how can you integrate that? And yeah, with customer service, you can think about a lot of things. So if you're talking to the customer service, do they recognize you? Do they know what you bought? What do you need to give for information on yourself? So how can you, yeah, make that into one experience, so to say?
Why would you say omni-channel matters? Because it's certainly something that people didn't seem to care about as much as they do now. So it's becoming increasingly important.
Yeah.
Why is that? What's driving that? And when someone's saying, okay, I need to look at omni-channel, what should the things what are the benefits essentially of doing so?
So I think one big benefit of omnichannel. So if you have your physical stores, that's a big benefit you have on the big retailers that are only on the internet, like the Amazons, the Bols, and those kind of things. And they will always win in shipping cost and in shipping speed. So if you want to have an extra benefit, you could use your physical stores. So, and it also depends a little bit on the products you sell, I must say, but yeah, there are products that some people at least want to see before they buy it. So if you look at a really specific thing as strollers, you have like a big decision-making phase, basically, where a lot of people have the tendency to try them out. And that is also like a really nice thing that some stores have, is like there's really nice in-store services.
Yeah.
So if you have like this sport retailers, you could measure your footsteps. Not sure how to.
Yeah, I did that. I bought some new running shoes, and then they made me wear them, and I ran up and down, and they made sure that they were the right shoes in terms of the amount of support on the instep. You can make
Yeah, so the way you land your feet, it really makes a difference in what shoe you need to buy. So, and yeah, you can mimic some things with virtual reality and measure things with your phone, but you don't have the same equipment basically as the stores do. Or if you have like these outdoor shops, they almost have like a Disneyland experience, so to say. You can try them out on a track and those kind of things, which is really a big benefit. And if you look at fashion, you have a lot of times these made-to-measure services where you can, where they measure you literally, and then they can, yeah, adjust the clothing to your body. So those are all kind of nice benefits, I would say, you have.
Yeah, I knew these. The real aha moment for me was when I saw a pop-up fashion shop appear, and I had a look inside, and they weren't selling anything. You could try the clothes on, but then you had to go to their website and order them.
Okay, yeah.
It's at that moment that the pattern between where you try something and where you buy it,
yeah,
completely broken. It's interesting if you see as people, the pattern now is just people will go into shops and then they'll start looking on their phones at the products and see what the availability is online and elsewhere as well. So it's a sort of recognition that from a consumer point of view, people are one expecting that the place, if it's the same brand that has the physical store and the web shop, they're expecting you to be fully integrated. So if you order something online, they expect the people in the store to know it. but
Yeah.
also showing that people are now starting to separate the idea of where they try stuff and where they buy stuff very much. And so we're much more fluid about the types of flows of delivery flows, fulfillment and purchase that we have as well.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, you see that a lot, especially these days, your own mobile in the store. And what you see as well is that they are integrated in the whole loyalty part. So to say, when you decide to buy in a store, that you connect your whole loyalty app. So the whole digital experience to the offline experience, so to say. So, and you could even go that far that you have the magic mirror, so where you can recognize somebody and really advise based on earlier buying behavior.
So in terms of, let's say, some specific types of tactics, if someone has a set of physical stores and they have an e-commerce web shop, but they've really run that web shop as a separate shop, and they said, actually, we want to be more omni-channel, what would be some of the first obvious ways to make that connection work?
I think the most basic functionality that there is, and I think most retailers have that, is that you have your store finder with your store pages, so you can see where they are, you can contact them, and they're accessible. They have a link with Google Maps, of course, so you can plan your route. So I think that is the most obvious one, and you can list all your services in those stores as well, so you know what to expect and what you can do there. So that would be the first step.
Okay. And then those are all fairly straightforward. I guess if someone says, okay, I want to go a bit next level now, I'm interested in changing my mindset from saying my web shop is just another shop to my web shop is something that enhances all of my local stores.
Yeah, so that is, of course, the next step. So what you need to do is you need to get your in-store stock, and the website should recognize that. So that is the first step, of course. And then you could do all kind of things. So you could say on your product detail pages, you could list the stock of your local store, the store that is nearby. So you also need to recognize your geolocation. So there are all kind of tactics for that. So then you can say, hey, in the store, like say, it's like, let's say in 300 meters, you can pick this up right away. And yeah, with subtle things as shipping cost and shipping time, you can also generate traffic to your store.
Yeah, that's a huge thing, actually. I mean, one of the, you were saying one of the advantages of the bowls and the big platforms is because of the volume, they tend to do well on shipping. But if someone can go to a local shop, then they get no shipping costs, which is a huge cost. But also at that point, you've got them in your store. There's an opportunity then to literally physically cross or upsell, or just get, just talk to them and do some marketing or branding as well.
Yeah, you see that the average order value in store a lot of times is bigger than in a digital realm, so to say. Yeah. But yeah, it really depends also on the need of the customer. So if you need something right now, so you need a new shirt, but you don't have one, then yeah, you can't wait to tomorrow. So you need to go to the store and pick one up. So.
Right. Yeah, that's a huge plus, right? It's basically local stock kept within immediate kind of pickup distance as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we do a lot of testing in this area. How much does returns affect willingness of people to purchase, especially things like fashion? People will often want to buy multiple items, planning to send some back.
Yep.
And that's quite a hassle. So the ability to take your stuff back to the local store, rather than wrap it all up, it's clearly appealing. Have you tested that? Have you seen do you have a sense of how much flexibility and returns policy can drive certain sales?
Well, if you know that you can return it in a store nearby, that is like a massive benefit, I would say, because people tend to think that returning is a hassle because you need to pack it, you need to go to the post office, you need to do. And not every store has the same convenience as let's say, ASOS or those kind of companies, so or Zalando. So it's not always that easy. So if you can return it, that is a huge benefit. And so it's do a easier purchase, so to say. But yeah, I think returns are a thing in itself, but there are a lot of tactics for that as well, how you can streamline your returns.
Okay. Not necessarily omni-channel tactics.
It's not necessarily a omni-channel tactic. I think it's more of a benefit of having a store nearby where you can return your goods. It makes it really easy and convenient. But it not necessarily affects the amount of products I think that you return.
Yeah. And do you then see that it's increasingly going to be creating digital displays in stores as well? Do you see an omnichannel part of just upping the role of digital in store, or it's really more about those use cases of I just want to pick it up here, drop it off there, buy it there, or have it delivered there, or I want to try the shoes on in the store and have them delivered? Or is it a case of like, let's create this really digital experience in the store, or is it both?
Well, I think that the most that you see, and that is what all retailers are doing, is that you're doing it on your digital platform. Sometimes you see in-store experiences that are created with from the digital space, but so a couple of things. Sometimes you see that, and then it's more like an analog thing. So they copy reviews from their website and literally paste it on a paper next to the products, but it helps. So that is a different thing than you said, than when you walk in with your phone and check it yourself. So you could do that and make there the user journey shorter, so to say. So that is a thing that you see, but there are some premium brands that have like the magic mirrors, but it's not a thing that you see like a lot of times.
Yeah, there hasn't seemed to be a huge consumer desire for that. I mean, it's sort of fun, but it's not a killer app, I don't think.
No.
The thing I'm really looking forward to is, and I've been looking forward to this for 10 years, so it just goes to show, is what I call digital packaging. And that's the idea that we want to tell lots of stories about products, but doing that on the label is very difficult. And so essentially digitizing labels, and that can be everything from the brand story, so all about the brand, how it's made, how it's designed, but also things like the supply chain information, how it's delivered, who made it, what's in it. If you think about food, it can be recipes and nutrition. And I just think there's a infinite amount of virtual space to tell stories and provide information about physical products. So
yeah. Yeah, you have this. I think it's a wine brand that have this tasting notes on their bottle. So they have the QR code, you scan it, and then they explain a little bit about the product, how you should drink it, and those kind of extra things.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I think that's really starting. I think the interesting thing is it took Apple until last year to support QR codes, funny enough. So they really help, but finally there's universal support. So, but I think everyone's already maybe missed that Apple did that, but I just think now, because for so long we said QR codes are a technical challenge because of app installations, but actually QR codes are now very easy to do. And there's all these opportunities to have digital content triggered by physical products. And then at the same time, once someone's digital, they're on their phone, you can then bring them back to retail. So I think we're going to find all sorts of new use cases around the idea of digital packaging, especially also when you look at food and sustainability, and we start to see more reusable packaging, like refills, for example. If you refill,
yeah, you can really make products unique with it. And what's not, but you see the QR codes now on, I think, on a lot of packages. You should, if you check it, because I'm not always aware of every QR code. But I even have, I don't know the exact English word, like the thing where you cut your food on. It's like your
cutting board.
A what? A cutting board. A cutting board. Yeah.
What is the Dutch for that?
A snijplank.
Snijplank. Okay. A cut plank. Okay.
A cut plank. But I have this cutting board, and it has a QR code, and I scanned it, but it's from an old oak I discovered. So it's you see it. A lot of times now. It's getting more and more accessible, and now even when your normal camera recognize it, it's
Well, that makes a huge difference, because if for all, we talk about provenance all the time with products, which is like, well, if a company is trying to, for instance, treat its suppliers better, like maybe you're making garments and you're working with the garment, you know, creators in, say, Indonesia, but then what you're doing is you're supporting some local school initiatives or something like that. You can tell that story, and it really adds to the brand. People will be willing to pay more, and the more visibility. The way I like to put it is, nobody knows you've been good. So for companies to be good, they really need to be seen to be good. That's when only when people know do they appreciate it. And so the ability to tell that story in an omni-channel way is really powerful, I think.
Yeah.
Was this one other thing I was going to say? Yeah. Well, I probably shouldn't be good for the video, but I noticed the local coffee shop now has QR codes on its bags of weeds, and it'll tell you exactly the height and have the phone and all the information. So it's gone really, they've got quite sophisticated.
It is everywhere. I think, or if you're all the packages of my breakfast, they all have QR codes. You can scan most of the things these days. Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
Well, then we leave it here, and
Yeah, that's great.